Games of Glory unveils a persistent world. Rez Studios announces a brand new free-to-play title. All that and more. I'm Zach Sharps, and this is Free to Play Weekly. First up in the news this week, Vostok Games, developers of the free-to-play shooter Survarium, released their 0.30 updates. This patch brings forth the new Last Stand game mode, which is Survarium's very first non-team-based match type. In this game mode, players try to survive on their own, receiving points when killing opponents while trying to hang on to their points that they gathered thus far. Whoever has the most points at the end, of course, wins, and also added within this update was the knowledge of the forest skill tree, which takes anomalies and artifacts to the next level by providing players with a skill tree of their own. This patch overall seems pretty good on the surface. Although public perception of Survarium is quite negative, it's still great to see the devs trying to change that perception, maybe in the wrong ways, but hey, they gotta start somewhere, right? Something I never thought I'd hear come from a MOBA developer's mouth happened at Gamescom. Games of Glory is getting a persistent world. Yes, a persistent world within a MOBA. There isn't much details regarding this, however, players supposedly fight for their faction's influence within the broader universe. With each victory or loss, things change, raising their notoriety in the eyes of the Synarchies, who are the dominant empire in the game's universe. It'll be interesting to see how this all ends up being persistent, but hey, maybe Lightbulb Crew has a different definition of the word, or they only have teased it with a very small glimpse in a much bigger reality. At Gamescom, Trial Worlds was not letting Blizzard have all the hype for the hype train. No. They had to let their own MMO Rift have some of that too. With Rift heading into patch 3.4, the free-to-play MMO will be expanding by bringing forth a new raid, expedition zone, dungeon, and more. With the new update also comes a First for Rifts, which is a new calling that will be added to the game for the first time since launch. The Primalist is a completely new nature-based calling that includes 6 new souls to choose from that specialize the Primalist in DPS, tanking, or healing roles. From the looks of it, the Primalist looks pretty dang awesome. However, just like with any new class, I wonder how broken it's gonna be at launch. Those of you looking for a brand new browser-based free-to-play MMO, and that's probably not a lot of you, but hey, 37 Games has a new one that just launched for you called Felspire. Being your standard MMO, there is one thing that does put it over the top, even for a browser-based title. What is that feature? Auto-questing. Yes, that's right, Felspire, quote, comes equipped with a handy auto-questing feature that gives you the option to skip straight to the part of the game that you enjoy the most. This nifty addition can automatically slay monsters, collect loot, and is even able to sell items from your bag when it has reached capacity, end quote. And with that madness, guys, it's time for the question of the week. Last week on the show, I asked you guys whether or not you think there should be more full-fledged MMOs on mobile. A user by the name of UN stated the following: mobile MMOs are a good idea, but not at the moment. Battery life, processing power, and RAM can't really suffice for a fun experience of long periods of time. Plus, business methods on mobile games are terrible for free-to-play titles. Unless it changes, it's a place to avoid at the moment. Thanks for your response, and if you want your comment possibly featured in next week's episode, make sure to leave a comment down below. This week's question is, as you guys could probably assume, should auto-questing be a thing? This feature is outright ridiculous to me, and for many of you, I'm sure you'll feel the same way. If you make questing automatic, then why waste development time on that content anyhow? And why make players automatically go through it? Like, what? For our last news story of the week, Rez Studios, most well known for Smite, announced a brand new free-to-play title called Paladins Champions of the Realm. This title is a team-based first-person shooter that combines elements of fantasy with the progression of card-based games to augment abilities and stats. In Paladins, teams are pitted against one another to capture control points and demolish the enemy's base while defending their own. Each combatant enters the battle with a primary weapon, a set of combat and movement abilities, and a personal mount to carry them quickly from one fight to the next. Beginning each match with a customizable deck of skill cards, they are able to be activated and evolved upon leveling up in match for enhanced strength, defense, or utility throughout the session. Team-based shooter meets card game? It sounds interesting if you ask me. You know what is also interesting? Giveaways, of course. Make sure to head on over to MMOBomb.com, bookmark the page, and be sure to check it daily to ensure that you never miss one. As for myself, signing out till next week's Free to Play Weekly, I'm Zach Sharps, and I'll catch you guys next time.